Let go of negative thoughts before they take control. If you are a worrier, an overthinker, or someone who is terrorized by their thoughts, then this video is exactly what you need to begin to take back control from an anxious mind. What difference would it make to your life and anxiety if you could pick and choose which thoughts to believe in or not? So let's talk about thoughts, their role with anxiety, and what you can begin to do about them. And just to be clear on something that I didn't get at all when I first heard it, your thoughts are not real. They are not reality. Now, this might sound obvious to some of you, but for many of you, believing your thoughts are real is what's causing your anxiety levels to be turned right up. And thoughts are a mental construct, a story based on your perceptions, which are important for you to navigate life. For example, your mind in the morning can create a story about how your day will go for you, which could be negative or positive, and you may plan accordingly. But in reality, there is no future yet, despite how real your thoughts feel. What you actually experience is your mind creating a prediction for a particular purpose, which is usually self-protective and either helpful or not. You can't rely on your feelings as the truth either. For example, just because you feel frightened doesn't mean there's actually something to be frightened of. Now, I remember as a child watching Jaws and worrying that a shark would somehow get into the local swimming pool. I would feel quite anxious and swim away from the deep end very fast. Thoughts are constructs of the mind and are either useful or not. You train yourself to learn to filter which thoughts are worth paying attention to and take action on, and which ones to let go. What would it be like for you to be less attached to your thoughts as the truth, especially your anxious thoughts? And let's talk about time travel. Something that has changed our species and our survival rate forever was a thought process which allowed us to time travel. Not in a literal sense, but our minds became able to use memories and experiences from the past to create visions of the future. We learned to do this all day as we evolved into thinking machines. This ability to remember the past and imagine the future is great for goal setting and then creating, great for reminiscing to feel good, and great for imagining the worst so we can stay alive. We are masters at being very creative in imagining the worst and having a nervous system which responds very quickly by hijacking us into survival mode. With survival as our number one goal, we have a mind which entertains every single scenario of what we never want to happen to us. Now, luckily, most of this takes place in the subconscious mind and should only come to the surface if we are facing danger and need to trigger our survival mode. But hey, in the modern day, our survival is no longer a daily concern, yet these thoughts keep coming to the surface. And for visual worriers among you, your worrying thoughts will appear big and large in front of you to trigger that survival level response. If you're more auditory, then you may have your worries talk loudly to you from a certain side of your head. How do you worry? When I worry, I have a mix of both. What about you? Here's a neat trick. In a moment, pause this video and feel which side of the head you worry from. Is it the left, the right, the front, or the back? Now try to worry from the opposite side. If you feel your worries on the left, try moving them to the right. If they emanate from the front, can you relocate them to the back? What happened? If you tried the experiment and you just dabbled with a little bit of mindfulness by becoming aware of how you worry. And we're going to use mindfulness to change your relationship with your thoughts and help you take back control of a worrying mind. If you are an overthinker, you're likely to be trapped on your mind on autopilot, trying to find that magical thought or solution which will help you feel anxiety-free. And I'm sure you know that despite your best efforts, it's very difficult for you to find that one thought which will solve your problems. Now, the reason for this is that your prefrontal cortex, which helps you think rationally and logically, is reduced in function when we are in survival mode to ensure we don't try to rationalize dangerous situations to ensure we stay alive, which is exactly what you are trying to do, rule breaker. Now, mindfulness training can help you become aware of being caught in an overthinking trap and help you begin to mindfully move your attention away from your mind and into your body. Now, why is this important? Because this is where the alarm is most least likely to be sounded from. The racing heart, the tension and tightness in the body, the knot in your stomach or pressure around the neck and head needs to be soothed and calmed down. And I promise you that by soothing anxiety in the body, it will slow down your mind and help you develop clarity of thought. It rarely happens the other way around. You really have to experience how this works for yourself to get the full effect and gain confidence in this strategy and practice it to make it your natural way for you to deal with anxiety. Mindfulness training can help you pause and choose your next response in a variety of situations rather than just react. There is a powerful quote from Viktor Frankl in his book Man's Search for Meaning, where he says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and freedom." How different would your life be if instead of reacting to triggering situations, you could just choose how you responded instead? Now let's practice some simple 1-minute mindfulness techniques here. Now close your eyes and with curiosity, focus on breathing to the belly for 1 minute and just feel the different sensations as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Get curious and listen to all the different sounds happening around you. Be the observer of your thoughts, just like you are watching a TV screen or listening to the radio. Focus on what thoughts come into your mind and label each thought as it appears. Accept each thought as it arises. So for example, if you think of a seagull, say to yourself calmly and deeply, seagull. If you think of an apple, say apple. I think you get the picture. Now bring into your mind thoughts that worry you. Gently and calmly label each one as an anxious thought and watch what happens. Now become aware of your visual field with your eyes closed and note, where do your anxious thoughts appear? And then when you focus on them as an observer, what happens to them? What did you notice happening for you? Now, the more you practice mindfulness, the more you rewire your brain to find more space and therefore room to choose your response. This can be life-changing. The other part of mindfulness that needs to be mentioned here is how at any point in time you can shift your awareness back to the present moment and liberate yourself from worries of the mind. Time traveling and talking to yourself inside your mind can feel addictive, and we can lose ourselves in that hypnotic thought process. But with a breath, you can practice shifting your awareness to the only moment that actually matters, and that is the here and now. There is no more important moment than this present moment. The belief that there is a more important moment in the future which will make you happy is one of the biggest sources of your misery. And we can plan and act and invest in the future, but we can only do that in the now. Eckhart Tolle, a spiritual teacher, says your entire life happens in this moment. The present moment is life itself. Yet people live as if the opposite were true and treat the present moment as a stepping stone to the next moment, a means to the end. So shift your full attention to the present moment and focus fully in my direction. What happens to your thoughts? What problems do you have right now? If your mind naturally wanders to try and find problems, then gently bring it back. Do you have everything you need right now? How does that feel? Hopefully you can see how mindfulness can play a huge role in helping you monitor and manage negative thoughts. Similar to breathwork and mind balancing, it's a skill. These skills need frequent practicing for you to get the most out of them. And I challenge you to do 5 minutes of mindful meditation each day until we meet next week. When I next see you, we'll be exploring our final short-term technique. Now, this is an incredible tool that helps you reframe your anxious thoughts and reposition them in a more positive light. I want to say well done on getting this far with the program, and I'm encouraging you to get curious as to what you are learning here and what changes you notice happening in your life. And I look forward to connecting with you in the very next video.